Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome to my live. I am Queen Lillie. You are welcome. Let me turn my do not disturb on one moment, please. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I forgot to turn my do not disturb on. Hello, everybody. How y'all doing? I hope you're doing very well. We have a lot to talk about. Donald Trump and his DOJ are set to disappoint us because they have decided they will not release the entire Epstein files. Yes, they are going against the law and going against the act that was set by Rohan to release the Epstein files and Massey. Donald Trump and his regime believe that they do not have to follow the law. Yeah, that's what they believe. But I hope the Democrats stick it to them because the Epstein files, all of the Epstein files, supposed to have been released today. But the Donald Trump regime believe they do not have to release it. They don't. And I want to apologize to my moderator, Alan. I know I told you I was going live at 3 o'clock, but I was still doing some research. And I had to go on a nature hunt for this video. I had it saved on my phone, but I didn't realize that I had deleted the video of Trump's DOJ Deputy Chief Braggs say that they're going to redact the Epstein files of all the Republicans. I had it on my phone saved, but for some reason I apparently have deleted it, and I had to really go search for that particular video to show today because they are planning in the American people face and telling us that they will not release the entire Epstein files. They're only going to release, I think, it's 100,000 pages or so of the Epstein files because there's a cover-up. And there's no other way to look at it because if it was not a cover-up, Pam Bundy, Cash Patel, and Donna Janine Trump would release the entire Epstein files. See what they have done, which don't take offense to this, the mediocre white man has always whitewashed everything. So what are they doing to the Epstein files? They are whitewashing the Epstein files. They have bleached the Epstein files, totally redacted anything with Donald Trump in it out of the Epstein files and the Republicans. Because it was said from one of their DOJs, somebody worked for the DOJ, Department of Justice. I'm going to show you the video. That's the first thing I'm going to show you. We're going to cover probably all the Epstein stuff first, then we'll get to the other news that's going on in our country. But the Epstein stuff is most important because we're supposed to receive all of the Epstein files today. But the MAGA Republican Party has decided to go against what the law was set for them to do today. Yes, it was set for them to release the entire Epstein files. Hello, Victoria Rubio. How you doing, beautiful? Hello, Queen. Hello, Calvin. How you doing, King? So we're going to start with that first of all, because we don't have to sit down and accept this America. This is our country. We are the taxpayers. And because we are the taxpayers, they need to do right by us. We pay their wages. We pay the Democrat wages. We pay the Republican wages. And we would not stand for mistreatment any longer. We must put our foot down because we the people. We pay Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not a king. He works for the American taxpayers. One moment, please. Welcome to my live. I am Queen Lillie. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can send me super chats and super stickers. Hit that like button as you are coming in, please. Also, you can send me gifts. That's another thing that YouTube have for you to show your content creator that you appreciate her. Hit that like button, please. So the first thing I will be showing you all is Trump's DOJ Deputy Chief Braggs. FBI is redacting. This is what he said. FBI is redacting the GOP and the Epstein files. So that is another cover-up. For some particular reason, the GOP are the ones at the Freaka leaks. They are the most to be in the Epstein files. So I'm going to tell you who's not in the Epstein files. President Barack Obama is not in the Epstein files. President Joe Biden is not in the Epstein files. But who's in the Epstein files? Donald J. Trump. Yes, he is. Hold on, please.
Those files do exist.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of pages of files. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files, leave all the liberal, Democratic people in those files.
I think they visited that Maxwell person.
Yeah.
And also in that.
She got transferred to a minimum security prison too recently, which is against BOP policy because she's like a big sex offender or something. Keep it on shut.
But those files do exist.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of pages of files. They'll redact every Republican or.
I'm sorry to disappoint you. I am King, King Honey. President Barack Obama is not in Epstein files, and that's a fact. But your leader, your savior, Donald Trump, is definitely in the Epstein files. He's all over the Epstein files. And that's why there will be great redactions in these Epstein files, because your savior, Donald Trump, is all over it. He's a freak-a-leak. He's a Diddy. King Allen, I apologize that you didn't get the notifications. They should have notified you. I apologize for that. Hold it to my heart, not to my head, okay? Not to my head. No, hold it to my heart and not my head. I apologize. I'm still exhausted. I got a lot of cooking to do. Yeah, you heard what the guy just said. He works for the DOJ. Chief Braggs, he said that they will be redacting all of the GOP out of the Epstein files. I'm going to play it again because it's imperative, because right now they're playing in the American people face. Yes, Bill Clinton has been said and alleged to be in the Epstein files. And if he did something to some young girls, he should be punished. But Donald Trump is all over the Epstein files. Yeah, your savior is all over the Epstein files. He's not my savior because Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. But Donnie is MAGA's Lord and Savior. So I'm going to play this again. Everything I show is fair use, great for educational purpose, great for entertainment purposes, and great for research. And what I'm doing and what we're doing in my live, we are doing research, everybody, yes, on the Epstein files and the today's news that's going on today in the American People News. Hold on, I'm going to play it again for you, okay?
Those files do exist.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of pages of files. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files, leave all the liberal, Democratic people in those files.
I think they visited that Maxwell person.
Yeah.
And also in that.
She got transferred to a minimum security prison too recently, which is against BOP policy because she's like a big sex offender or something. Keep it on shut.
But those files do exist.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of pages of files. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files, leave all the liberal, Democratic people in those files.
I think they visited that Maxwell person.
Yeah.
And also in that.
She got transferred to a minimum security prison too recently.
So they just mentioned Jasleen Maxwell. So I got something on that. Hold on. Let me find it right quick, okay? Because I saved so much research. Hold on. So, yeah, she wants to get out of prison. She thinks she's so special. You fondled and had sex. You and Jeffrey Epstein and other GOPs had sex with these young girls. You're not getting away, girl. No, she thinks she should have been pardoned, but she hasn't. So let's take a listen to this, what is being said. Judge grants Justice Department request to unseal Jasleen Maxwell records in XEX trafficking case. A federal judge says the Justice Department can publicly release investigative materials from a SEX trafficking case against Jasleen Maxwell, the longtime confidant of Jeffrey Epstein. There's more. One moment. She ain't getting away with anything. And Donald Trump will not either. Not on my watch. It ain't happening. Not on my watch. Just a moment, please. How y'all doing today? Hit that like button. Thank you for your beautiful comments. I saw them, but I didn't have time to read them. Thank you for your beautiful comments. I love each and every last one of you. Just a moment, please, while I find the Jasleen Maxwell information that I'm looking for. Say hello to my moderators. They're such great people, and I love them. I couldn't do this without them. I love you, Alan. And I apologize again for being so late. Just a moment, please. I saved so much information. Just give me a moment to get to it, okay? Because I have a lot of Epstein things saved. Because this is going to be more like an Epstein day, okay? Why is it going to be an Epstein day? Because they're supposed to have released the Epstein files and they have not. They're planning the American people face. They think we are dumb, but we are not. The American people are smart. Some may have low IQ, but it's okay. Well, I can't find a particular one right now, so I'm going to move along. Hold on, beautiful kings and queens. We got so much to cover. So Trump's Justice Department is rushing to redact Epstein files before release. And this is coming from Carrier Newsroom as well. According to CNN, the Department of Justice is rushing to redact files before the audit release date, December 19th, which is today. The deadline to release the Epstein files is today. And what is going on? Pam Bundy, Kash Patel, and Donald Trump are deciding to not release the entire Epstein files. They're playing in the American people face. Politico even have something about it. So take a listen to Representative Watkins and hear what he has to say. Trump's DOJ missed deadline to release the Epstein files. Hold on, babes.
Important to remember, we have emails from Jeffrey Epstein saying that Donald Trump, quote, knew about the girls. Emails from Jeffrey Epstein saying that Donald Trump, quote, spent several hours with one of the girls. Now, Epstein could have been lying in those photos, but that's why we need the full files to determine the full truth and so that the American people can see it for themselves. It's important to remember, we have emails from Jeffrey Epstein saying that Donald Trump, quote, knew about the girls. Emails from Jeffrey Epstein saying that Donald Trump, quote, spent several hours with one of the girls. Now, Epstein could have been lying in those photos, but that's why we need the full files to determine the full truth.
Donald Trump spent full hours with a young girl. I believe every last bit of it. I don't have a reason to think that Donald Trump is a good person. He never has displayed that he has any good in him. He has only displayed that he is a horrible man. This is coming from Midas Touch Network, refusing to produce all records that's pertaining to the Epstein files. Trump loses it and immediately violates the Epstein law. We're going to watch some of this, then we're going to continue with other commentation from this about the Epstein files. One moment, please. Just a moment.
Donald Trump is having an awful Friday morning. He has already admitted that he and his regime will be violating the Epstein transparency law. They will not be producing all of the Epstein files. They say instead they will be producing 100,000 or a few 100,000 documents today, and then maybe in a few weeks or months they may produce a few 100,000 more. That is a direct violation of the Epstein transparency law, which requires that all of the files be released today. Obviously, they are spending the additional time to engage in a further cover-up. And it pains me to give you that news, but I think we all knew that Donald Trump would wake up on Friday and do a massive cover-up, and that's exactly what's going on. Let me show you what Donald Trump's number 2 at the DOJ, a guy by the name of Todd Blanche, had to say. Now, you'll remember Todd Blanche used to be Donald Trump's personal lawyer. He was Trump's criminal defense lawyer in the case where Donald Trump was convicted of like 33 or 34 felony counts. Now, Todd Blanche was appointed as the number 2 at the DOJ, and he was the guy who interviewed Ghislaine Maxwell at the maximum security facility where she was serving basically a life sentence, over 20 years, for engaging in child sex trafficking. And they did that interview where Ghislaine lied the entire time, and then she was transferred to the minimum security facility at Camp Bryant, Texas. This is Todd Blanche moments ago saying that the Trump regime will not be turning out over all of the Epstein files today. Instead, hundreds of thousands of several 100,000 documents, they say today, and then they'll be doing additional documents, they claim, in the coming weeks, a direct violation of the law. Here, play this clip.
So yes, so today is the 30 days when I expect that we're going to release several 100,000 documents today, and those documents will come in all different forms, photographs and other materials associated with all of the investigations into Mr. Epstein. And just so everybody appreciates, President Trump has said for years that he wants full transparency, and he wants the Department of Justice to release everything that we can with respect to this investigation.
Who in the F believe that Donald Trump wants full transparency? Donald Trump wants transparency that fits his narrative, that he's not in the Epstein files. When we all know Donald J. Trump, no, let me rephrase this. We all know that Donna Janine Trump, the one that wants the ballroom built, our first LGBTQ president, he only wants things to be transparency to transfer how he wants it to go. So that is not true transparency for the American people. So the DOJ, Pam Bundy, yes, you girl, and Blanche, Cash Patel, and Donald Trump can kiss our grits.
The Epstein transparency law, so we can read it together. Here it is right here. Short title: the act may be cited as the Epstein Files Transparency Act. Subsection A. In general, not later than 30 days after the date of enactment of this act, the Attorney General shall, subject to subsection B, make publicly available in a searchable and downloadable format all unclassified records, documents, communications, and investigative materials in the possession.
You heard Ben say all documents. That is written into the law, that all documents must be released, not just some of them. See, what Donald Trump planned and the DOJ plan is to only release where the Democrats are showed in the Epstein files. And where me and the other Democrats, we don't care if you're a Democrat in the Epstein files, you should be punished as well. But the GOP men, the freak elites in the Epstein files, must be punished as well. Thank you for blessing me, and I love you. Let me see who this is. It won't, okay. Sent hot cocoa. Thank you so much. Fahrenheit. Thank you. Thank you, King. I love you. We do not care if you're a Democrat. If you did the crime, you must do the time. Like Donald Trump needs to be locked up and never let out. He is a dangerous man, in my opinion. And I have my reasons for that. And I have facts to back it. We're going to continue on, you guys. Hold on one moment, okay?
House Democrats are now threatening legal action against the Department of Justice, Attorney General Pam Bondi, for refusing to comply with the law that said all Epstein files had to be released by today. But now the Department of Justice is signaling that they'll release some files, but they're not going to release all the files, and they're going to delay the release of the files for a few more weeks or maybe even months. But because of this, the law explicitly states that Pam Bondi could be held in contempt of Congress. She could be even up for impeachment. It depends how much bipartisan support there is for that, because we saw unanimously all the Republicans finally caved and voted for this Epstein discharge petition. That came due to immense public pressure. They know the American people see through the smoke. They know that we know there's a cover-up going on. But we know this administration doesn't care about the law. We know they don't care about Congress. They're a rogue fascist entity masquerading as our American government. And hopefully we all know what happens with these Epstein files, because I have a feeling they're covering something up. So House Democrats...
It is a huge cover-up. Nick Wildem 5655, he says, hello, King, how you doing? He says they have already fudged up the files. They have, my love. They have. And the original JG says Trump is just a massive grifter. Yes, he is, King. He's a massive grifter. He is. King Allen says move on. Oh, he's talking to someone in the chat. One moment, please. The original JG said he sure was. He realized that being far right could be a fruitful gift. Less intelligent. That was funny. less intelligence. Yes, King Allen, easy to manipulate. And Nick Wildum, 5655, says sue them all for breaking the law. You're right, my love. You're right, King. We need to impeach the entire MAGA Republican Party. That regime has been so divisive to our country and just have lied and played in the American people face like we are not intelligent enough to know what they're doing. Donald Trump thinks that everybody is dumb except him. He thinks he's the smartest one in the classroom when he actually lied about graduating in the top class. I showed y'all who graduated in the top class, and it was not Donald Trump. He's a compulsive liar. Donald Trump is one of the dumbest presidents ever. He is the dumbest. I'm going to tell y'all something. Y'all like to talk about Bush Jr. I love Bush Jr. He ain't the brightest one, but he's brighter than Donald Trump. I know y'all said that he was dumb. I don't think he was dumb. He was smart enough to get Dick Cheney to be his vice president so he could stand out and shine. So you can learn a lot from a dummy, but you just can't learn that from Donald Trump because he's a grifter. He's a conman. We're going to continue. One moment, please. Let me take a sip of water, y'all. Even though it's 40-something degrees here in Atlanta, Georgia, I'm hot. So y'all bear with me. You know I'm a 52-year-old woman. I get hot. One moment, please. Ooh, it is cold here, but I'm not cold. Bear with me. I'm sorry, y'all. Just a moment. And I got some ice stories too, but right now we're going to focus on the Epstein files, okay? We're going to get all the Epstein information out the way, and then we're going to move on to today's news, okay?
I've just published a bombshell report speaking to 30 different Epstein associates about Donald Trump. One woman, Tina Davis, was 14 at the time, and she was invited to Mar-a-Lago. She was told to dress sexy, and the waitress kept bringing over champagne even though she kept pushing it back. The girl's mother was there, and Marla Maples told her, "Do not let her around these men, especially my husband. Protect her." Another woman said that Epstein had coerced her into attending 4 different parties at his own home. She said that Trump attended all 4, and at 2 parties, Epstein directed her to have sex with other male guests. In another case, an employee of Epstein said that Epstein was irritated after a phone call with Donald Trump. Epstein claimed that Trump was short on cash and wanted a ride on his plane. Mark Epstein, Jeffrey's brother, also stated that Donald Trump was at Jeffrey Epstein's office all the time. Epstein himself told multiple employees that he had a bedroom at Mar-a-Lago. An individual that attended the parties that Epstein hosted said that Epstein and Maxwell had introduced at least 6 girls or women to Donald Trump who were later groomed or abused by Epstein and Maxwell.
So he's speaking about the article that came from New York Times, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the article he's speaking on. And Marla apparently knew something because she warned that mother about not allowing her young teen girls around her husband at Epstein. So that's big popping, big news, okay? Whew, there's a lot going on. One moment, please.
Trump administration just announced that they're going to violate the Epstein Transparency Act. House Oversight Democrats just issued this stern warning. First, they say Donald Trump and the Department of Justice are now violating federal law, but they also say that they are now examining all legal options in the face of this violation of federal law. I think it's time to start arresting and impeaching people.
It's definitely time to start arresting and impeaching people. Someone sent me a gift. Let me find it. Hold on. I love you guys. Hold on. I don't like to disrespect anyone. Nick Wildum, 5655. Thank you, my love. I love you. I love all of you. You know it. Without you, I wouldn't have my channel. Because of you, beautiful kings and queens, I am blessed to have this channel. Centerfowl 855 says this is exactly a Trump woman. I am not a Trump woman, but bless your soul, baby. I'm a Democrat. I'm honest about it. I don't come in here and lie to y'all. King Allen says nobody to hold him accountable since the Republicans want. They're scared of him. I don't know. I don't understand why they are scared of an old man. He's old, decrepit. He looks like death. Why would you be scared of him? Fabian says if they knew or had anything, they would have used it already. Well, this is the thing, King Fabian. The Republicans have both houses, and Donald Trump is the man in the Oval Office. So it's not as simple as you think, okay? And when President Joe Biden was in office, he let the DOJ run their own part. The president don't normally step into that situation, but Donald Trump, because he's in the Epstein files, of course he's going to meddle in the DOJ's affairs. He's trying to cover up himself, baby. Scrap Prerun said, what type of doctor are you? Well, if you did not read my degree, that's on you, because it's all over in my thing. I don't owe you any explanation about my life. I come on here to give you the news and stuff about Donald Trump, okay? God loves you. King Allen says you're wrong at soap suds, okay? You're welcome, baby. I'm not a medical doctor. I have a PhD. I hope that answers your question. I'm not being rude. Donald Trump is a self-made billionaire. I hate to think. That's false, my love. Beloved, that's not true. Okay? He was not a billionaire till he got in the Oval Office. And I would say this term. He's been lying for years. Donald Trump swindled and wasted all that money that his father had left him. And his father left him millions of dollars. And he went completely broke. He got involved with the Russian people and he got back up on his feet. Doja Bank and all. He has grifted and has done so many things that and broke he's just a criminal. Let's just leave it like that. Donald Trump is a criminal and always has been. Just a moment, please. Just a moment. So now we have more photos from the Epstein files because the Democrats released it from the Epstein estate. It's not that the DOJ released these. No, they're refusing to release things. They're barely going to release anything by 3 o'clock today, but it's after 3 o'clock. So hopefully they release some things because they didn't have any intentions on releasing the entire Epstein file today. So it said new photos, more question. Are we going to actually see the files? House Democrats have released 68 additional images from Jeffrey Epstein's estate, drawn from a cache of roughly 95,000 photos. They did that, I think, what, yesterday or the other day? Yeah. Just a moment. As pressure mounts ahead of deadline for the Trump administration to release much larger set of Epstein-related files. The newly released images include travel documents, text messages, screenshots, and disturbing imagery whose dates, locations, context remain unclear. According to the Oversight Committee, they contain powerful figures like Bill Gates, Steve Bannon, Noam Chomsky, Sergey Brin, and more. Democrats say the release is about transparency. Republicans in the White House accuse them of cherry picking to shape a narrative. Then, okay, Pam Bundy, what are y'all doing? Since you only releasing some of the Epstein files, you don't think you cherry picking and shaping a narrative? Because you're trying to protect Donald Trump, Pam Bundy. Save yourself, girl. Because with the what's his name? Oh God. The president that ended up getting impeached. Well, I think he ended up just resigning anyway. But anyway, his DOJ went to prison. Pam Bundy, girl, I'm all for women's rights. Save yourself. But you're not a good person. Own it. So I'm going to flash through these photos of what's going on with what has been released. Hold on, beautiful kings and queens. I'm going to flash through them. Hold on. I'm going to show you some of the photos that was recently released. I think it was yesterday. And some of these people swear they don't know Jeffrey Epstein, but hey. And Bill Gates' wife ran from him and divorced him. She said she did not like Epstein from the day she met Epstein. Bill Gates' wife did not like him. These are some text messages. I read them to you all yesterday from the Epstein files. Screenshot or do whatever you got to do. Because the words may be backwards on here, but hey, it is what it is. Look at Steve Bannon sitting there with Epstein. Remember, he said out of his funky, thin paper lips that he too would go to prison if the Republicans do not win the midterms. He said he would face prison as well. He'll go Bill Gates. I understand why his wife wanted a divorce. Grimy and slimy, Bill Gates, the man that went over to Africa and made us think he was doing some good over there. Those are the Epstein people. They affiliated with Epstein. This is Epstein's passport. It has been said that he may not be actually unalive. Maybe, in my opinion, could have happened. Donald Trump may have helped him get out of there because when Epstein was unalive, Trump was in office, supposedly been unalive. That's what I say then. This is more of the photos from the Epstein's estate. This is some woman. They keep writing about the Lolita on their bodies. I don't understand that. It's rather strange to me. So we're going to move along. So this is Epstein with some young girl leaving out his New York apartment. Okay, hold on. Who is this young girl? Everybody wants to know. Who is she? Who is this young girl with Jeffrey Epstein? Who is this young girl with Jeffrey Epstein? I think that's Prince Charles, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I know they had showed Prince Charles in one of these videos before. That is Jeffrey Epstein, New York apartment, December 6, 2010. Just a moment, everybody. How y'all doing in my chat? Trump's DOJ would not comply with the deadline to release the Epstein files. Breaking. Trump's DOJ, the Department Attorney General, says the Epstein files will not be released today as is required by federal law. Instead, they said they will release over time, over the next couple weeks. That is not what the law said, nor the judge said, Pam Bundy, with that bad bleach job. The law has today at 11:59 p.m. is the deadline for all the Epstein files. They should lock her up. Lock Pam Bundy up. She is breaking the law. She's lawless, just like Donald Trump. Just a moment, everybody. So the oversight Dems are fighting for transparency, accountability, and the release of the Epstein files. Oversight Democrats are leading the charge for transparency, accountability, the release of the Epstein files. That's what's happening today. And they're going to stand their grounds. And if not, Pam Bundy should be locked up. And Kash Patel and Donald Trump too. Lock them up and throw away the key. So I'm going to show you a video from Ben Marcellus from Midas Touch Network. Please subscribe to their YouTube channel and be sure to follow them on Instagram as well. Ben Marcellus is a great attorney, him and his brothers. So just take a listen, but I'm going to say something that what I feel about this entire situation. Hold on, please. Release the entire Epstein files, Bubba the juggler. At this point, Trump must be impeached. Bussy boy running scared of the Epstein files being released. So today we will not receive the full Epstein files. Just maybe some of it. Trump is an incompetent government. He has been allowed to manipulate the Oval Office and play in the American people's face since 2016. This buffoon must go. He's not presidential at all. He's a 2-year-old bussy boy who cosplayed President Barack Obama, which he would never be great. Trump is white people's curse. So let's take a listen to Bill Masellis, and it says, news, Trump immediately violates the Epstein files law. Will not release full files today. And it is the 19th, the deadline. Hold on.
Trump is having an awful Friday morning. He has already admitted that he and his regime will be violating the Epstein transparency law. They will not be producing all of the Epstein files. They say instead they will be producing 100,000 or a few 100,000 documents today, and then maybe in a few weeks or months they may produce a few 100,000 more. That is a direct violation of the Epstein transparency law, which requires that all of the files be released today. Obviously, they are spending the additional time to engage in a further cover-up. And it pains me to give you that news, but I think we all knew that Donald Trump would wake up on Friday and do a massive cover-up, and that's exactly what's going on. Let me show you what Donald Trump's number 2 at the DOJ, a guy by the name of Todd Blanche, had to say. Now, you'll remember Todd Blanche used to be Donald Trump's personal lawyer. He was Trump's criminal defense lawyer in the case where Donald Trump was convicted of like 33 or 34 felony counts. Now, Todd Blanche was appointed as the number 2 at the DOJ, and he was the guy who interviewed Ghislaine Maxwell at the maximum security facility where she was serving basically a life sentence, over 20 years, for engaging in child sex trafficking. And they did that interview where Ghislaine lied the entire time, and then she was transferred to the minimum security facility at Camp Bryan, Texas. This is Todd Blanche moments ago saying that the Trump regime will not be turning out over all of the Epstein files today. Instead, hundreds of thousands of several 100,000 documents, they say today, and then they'll be doing additional documents, they claim, in the coming weeks, a direct violation of the law. Here, play this clip.
So yes, so today is the 30 days when I expect that we're going to release several 100,000 documents today, and those documents will come in all different forms, photographs and other materials associated with all of the investigations into Mr. Epstein. And just so everybody appreciates, President Trump has said for years.
See, the next part I can't even listen to because Donald Trump is not the most transparent. He's the most bullshitter. That's what he is. So I'm not even going to listen to anything else that Blanche has to say because he was Donald Trump's personal attorney and he made him a part of his cabinet. Donald Trump only liked yes men. He only liked people that are lawyers to him. He doesn't deserve loyalty because he doesn't show them loyalty. Just a moment. Let me take a sip of water. Then I'm going to show you something about the Epstein connection. It's always in the Trump family. One moment, please. Just a moment.
Donald Trump Jr. just got engaged at the White House Christmas party. Third engagement. Big ring, big smiles, big applause. And here's the part they're not putting on the holiday card. He is engaged to Bettina Anderson, the daughter of a powerful banker who personally vouched for Jeffrey Epstein. Not met him once, not was in the same room. Her father, Henry Loy Anderson Jr., wrote a glowing character reference for Epstein, calling him a man of the highest integrity with an excellent reputation, helping him set up shop in the U.S. Virgin Islands, the same islands where Epstein later ran his operation, the same islands authorities conveniently ignored for years. The letter mattered. It helped open doors. It helped legitimize Epstein. It helped him keep going. And now, decades later, Epstein's enablers are still orbiting the same social circle, same Palm Beach elites, same White House parties, same family. Remember, this is the same Trump family that insists Epstein is a hoax, that Trump barely knew him, that it's all fake news. But now this, a White House engagement linking the Trump family directly to a man who helped Epstein gain credibility and protection. It's the same elite network, recycling itself, pretending outrage while quietly rewarding loyalty. Another marriage, another scandal-adjacent dynasty. Another reminder that for a certain class of people, Epstein was not a deal breaker. He was just another connection.
Yep. That is the connection that continues to flock the Trump family. The Epstein connection will always be in the Trump family because they are all criminals. Just a moment, please. And that particular video was from Real Talk USA.
Listen to this. The Epstein files are due today, and Donald Trump's deputy attorney general just said that the administration is going to violate the law.
I expect that we're going to release more documents over the next couple of weeks. So today, several 100,000, and then over the next couple of weeks, I expect several 100,000 more.
That's not what the law says. What are they hiding?
They're hiding a lot. The MAGA Republican regime is there to protect Donald Trump, not to look out for us, the American people. They could care less about us. They have showed us from our health insurance. They have showed people through their SNAP. They have showed us through so many things that they are only for the billionaires, not us, the average American people. If you're not a billionaire, Donald Trump don't care what happens to you. So MAGA, wake up. Wake up. Stop being a fool for Donald Trump. So we're going to hear somebody else's point of view about the Epstein files. There are two siblings, and you hear them having a discussion. Y'all, I know it's 45 degrees outside, but I'm burning up. I'm in menopause. I'm sorry. Mama over here burning up, baby. Take a listen. One moment.
Yeah. What do you think about Congress going on vacation early today?
They're not going on vacation early. They're deliberately hiding from their constituents just before the public release of the Epstein files and just after they voted against extending the ACA subsidies, which puts the lives of hundreds of thousands of Americans at risk over the next several years.
Hundreds of thousands?
Yeah, well, with the subsidies officially ending on December 31st, and assuming that the expected forced vote from the Democrats in January also fails, 22 million Americans are going to see their healthcare premiums nearly double in January, forcing many of them to either lose healthcare completely or choose cheaper, worse plans from the marketplace. Even people who aren't currently benefiting from subsidies can expect to see their plans rise in the next year as other changes in the BBB that was passed by Republicans will be passing more healthcare costs on to insurers, which will, of course, pass them on to those insurers' customers. As a result of all of these changes, the Yale School of Public Health predicted in June that over 51,000 Americans could die annually, and that blood is on Congress's hands.
Who is this going to affect the most?
Low and middle income Americans mostly, the very people who the Republican Party claims to represent, the very people who are going to be working through the holidays on Christmas and New Year's, while Congress is on a taxpayer-funded vacation, neglecting their responsibilities and abandoning their constituents. 51,000 dead over the next year, most likely in red states, just so Republicans could fund a tax cut for their billionaire friends and a private army to carry out the whims of a fascist dictator wannabe.
Boom! A fascist dictator wannabe. Donald Trump is a wannabe. He cosplay, but not good at it, trying to be Barack Obama. Lousy at it because he doesn't have any class. Boom. There was a lot served in that video. So, Congressman Representative Ro Khanna issues warning to Trump's DOJ regarding the Epstein files. Lock her up.
Listen to this stern warning that Congressman Ro Khanna just issued to Pam Bondi and the Trump DOJ regarding the release of the Epstein files tonight.
Any Justice Department official who does not comply with this law will be subject to prosecution for obstruction of justice. If Pam Bondi does not comply with the law, she will be held either in inherent contempt of Congress or subject to impeachment.
She would be subject to impeachment, Pam Bondi. We'll lock her up. That's all I can say. We cannot trust the Trump regime to release what really happened in the Epstein files. Blanche Bundy, Cash Patel, and Janine Trump cannot be trusted. Trump's goal is to only display Democrats in the Epstein files. Oh, hold on, y'all. I apologize.
Deadline.
And this is going to be coming from Don Lemon. Hold on.
Today marks the deadline for the DOJ to make the Epstein files public after the president signed a law requiring those to be released. So in these files, are we going to learn any new information about Epstein and people that may have been associated with him?
So yes, so today is the 30 days when I expect that we're going to release several 100,000 documents today, and those documents will come in all different forms, photographs and other materials associated with all of the investigations into Mr. Epstein. And just so everybody appreciates, President Trump has said for years that he wants full transparency, and he wants the Department of Justice to release everything that we can with respect to this investigation and cases. And we saw during the Biden administration radio silence from the very Democrats that are screaming
again.
congressional steps today.
Donald Trump has his goonies blaming President Joe Biden. Y'all can run your D suckers all day long about President Joe Biden, but he's not in the Epstein files. Janine Trump is all over the Epstein files. And that girl wants a ballroom at the White House. Trump, the DOJ are playing in our faces, and they are playing in the survivors' faces. Yes, the Epstein survivors' faces. From Aaron Parnas.
Right now, congressional Democrats are now, quote, reviewing all legal options after the Department of Justice confirmed that it will not meet today's deadline to release all of the Epstein files. The Epstein Files Transparency Act requires a disclosure of all of the files by the end of the day today. That's not going to happen, according to Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. What we are going to see, hundreds of thousands of files, we don't know which ones. That's coming in a few hours. But Robert Garcia and Jamie Raskin have issued the following statement that they are now, quote, examining all legal options in the face of this violation of federal law. The survivors of this nightmare deserve justice. The co-conspirators must be held accountable, and the American people deserve complete transparency from the DOJ. I don't know when we're going to get all of the files. We may never get all of the files, but it does look like the DOJ is now slow walking just a little bit. I'm going to continue providing you updates throughout the day once we get more information. So spread the word. We can't stop. Cannot stop until the survivors get justice. That is the most important thing right now. Follow along for all the news you need to know about.
Please subscribe to Aaron Parnas on YouTube and follow him on Instagram. We must protect the Epstein survivors. That is our duty. And some may feel, why would I get involved? Because it's the right thing to do. Be a humanitarian for once in your life, MAGA. I think the DOJ is up to no good when it comes to the Epstein files. And take a listen to this from Midas Touch Network. And Midas Touch says, Epstein survivor Danielle Bensky says, I just read Todd Blanche's statement saying that we're going to see more in the coming weeks. That makes me really nervous. This is what one of the survivors are saying. We had hoped that we would see everything today. And the fact that we still haven't seen anything feels nerve-wracking. Hold on, take a listen to one of the Epstein survivors.
I just read Todd Blanche's statement saying that we're going to see more in the coming weeks. And that makes me really nervous. And well, because we were really prepared. We had hoped that we would see everything today. And we didn't think that that was realistic. And again, like I speak for myself, survivors are not a monolith, right? We all have our different backstories and opinions and views, right? So, but for me, I was not the most hopeful that we would get everything, but there was a piece of me that wanted that part to be wrong. And the fact that we still haven't seen anything feels a little nerve-wracking.
I will feel nerve-wracked too if I'm one of the survivors that have been told they're going to receive everything pertaining to the Epstein files, and then Donald Trump and his goonies, Cash Patel, Pam Bundy, and Blanche decide they're only going to release some of the Epstein files when the law says to release 100% of non-redacted files, I would be nerve-wracked as well. So while the Epstein files will be heavily redacted, will the Epstein files be heavily redacted? Yes, they will be. We are already prepared for that. We're going to listen to Don Lemon, what he thinks about the Epstein files, okay?
Epstein files release day. Are you guys ready for release day?
3 to 4 p.m. they will start to release the files. My understanding is we're going to get a substantial release. The two things I'll be looking for is the redactions. Is it heavily redacted or are they doing it in a reasonable way? They owe, under the law, an explanation for every single thing they redact. They have to provide an explanation for why that is being redacted. Secondly, are they claiming too much classified information? They owe an explanation within 15 days for anything they claim classified. And third, are they at least talking to the survivors today? I would assume we're hearing they are. The DOJ is planning to reach out to the survivors to explain what is being released. That is the most common procedure. So are they going to follow through with that? And do they have a clear timeline saying, okay, yeah, we didn't comply literally with the law, which required it today. We have teams on this. Here's by when you can get the rest of the release.
We shouldn't have to wait. Pam Bundy, y'all had plenty of time to release the Epstein files. But what you're doing is a cover-up for Donald J. Trump, which I have now given him the name Donna Janine Trump, because he wants a ballroom so he can dance all fancy in his fairy dance suit. Just sprinkling fairy dust everywhere because he's a fairy. So we're going to go all the way back, and I'm going to come back to this in a moment, all the way back to what the DOJ, the guy, Mr. Braggs, worked for the DOJ, said. Okay?
Those files do exist.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of pages of files. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files, leave all the liberal, Democratic people in those files.
I think they visited that Maxwell person.
Yeah.
And also involved.
Got transferred to a minimum security prison too recently, which is against BOP policy because she's a convicted sex offender or something. Keep it hush.
But those files do exist.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of pages of files. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files, leave all the liberal, Democratic people in those files.
So Donald Trump already has a plan to break the law. Pam Bundy is covering up for Donald J. Trump, for all the GOPs, the piss pots. Just a moment, please. Now we're going to go back to where we were. The DOJ would not release all the Epstein files. The DOJ is covering up for Donald Trump. Pam Bundy, you may go to prison, girl.
We have some news right now. The Department of Justice will not release all of the files today. That's according to Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. So we're going to get the files according to News Nation at 3 p.m. He went on Fox News today saying that we're going to get hundreds of thousands of files. That's a lot of files. But he then said that hundreds of thousands of more files will be released in the coming days and weeks. Here's the deal, folks. The Epstein Files Transparency Act required all of the files, not some, all of them to be released today. They are going to miss that deadline of today. That is a violation of the Epstein Files Transparency Act. Next, it's what happens next? Well, we'll see if they actually do release several 100,000 files first today. And second, we'll see if they uphold this rolling production. I'll continue to provide you updates, but some of the excuses, they're already starting. Follow along for more news to come.
Subscribe to Aaron Pawners. They are making up any kind of excuse they can come up with. Donald Trump has Blanche coming out, going on all the news channels with the BS, and Donald Trump runs the news channels because they are afraid of him. I cannot understand why somebody's afraid of a man that wears a pissy depends, and he wears a girdle sometimes, and he wear hair pieces, and he wear lifts in his shoes to make him appear taller because that big gut makes him look so big. So he has to wear big jackets to hide his gut and a long red tie to hide that fat booty do of a stomach. One moment, please. More on the Epstein files from Nikki headquarters.
Oh, it's coming, right? Dumpy's about to pull out all the stops to distract from the Epstein files. He's going to try to elicit as much fear, outrage, and chaos as possible. Don't take the bait. This is the flailing that happens right before irrelevance. It's called an extinction burst. Do not give him your attention or your energy. Focus on the holidays, spend time with your family, and build your community. He is just a temporary zit on the ass of our country. So let him rename the Kennedy Center. We're going to clean it all up when he's gone. Let's go.
Let's go, America. Let's go, America. We're going to win this battle. We will take down the Donald Trump regime. And this is something from Harry J. Session. He says Trump's DOJ is scrambling to redact the Epstein files before the release. And he is right.
Major news, CNN is now reporting that Donald Trump's Department of Justice is scrambling to redact the Epstein files before their legally mandated release on Friday. A substantial number of redactions are needed, one of the sources said, and the documents each attorney is processing since Thanksgiving week can number more than 1,000, a time-consuming task that'll probably come down to the wire. The sensitivities of executive and legal privacy, victims' protections, and other concerns all play into the choices the lawyers must make when it comes to potential redactions. Lawyers working on the Epstein files at the DOJ's National Security Division also believe they're not getting clear guidelines on what to redact and what to leave open. In whatever's released on Friday, there will be extensive amounts of information redacted. My guess is that Donald Trump releases nothing and ignores the deadline, or releases a few things, but won't be anything significant. And of course, the question is, are some of these people working on the redactions working at the direction of Donald Trump? Are they redacting his name, removing things that might be embarrassing for him? Only time will tell. We'll see what happens tomorrow, but they're racing to redact.
And although we already into Friday, they are racing to redact. By 11:59 p.m. tonight, they better have it all out. Pam Bondi, you facing jail time. Nixon's Department of Justice lead Attorney General got locked up because of Nixon. Pam Bondi, you will be locked up. They need to make an example out of the Donald Trump's regime. Make an example out of them. Just a moment, please. So we're going to take a listen to Ro Khan again, Representative Ro Khan again, because it's imperative to get this point across. If they do not release the full non-redacted files today by 11:59, what is going to happen? Hold on.
By 11:59 p.m. on Friday, the Epstein files will finally be released because of my Epstein Transparency Act. We will see thousands of documents that we should have seen decades ago. 3 federal judges have ordered the release. As I'm speaking, dozens of lawyers on the national security team at the Department of Justice are preparing the documents for release. Let me be very clear. We need a full release. Anyone who tampers with these documents or conceals documents or engages in excessive redaction will be prosecuted because of obstruction of justice. We will prosecute individuals regardless of whether they're the Attorney General or a career or political appointee. We need full transparency and justice for the survivors. Tomorrow, finally, rich and powerful men who raped underage girls or who covered up for this abuse will be held accountable. The Epstein class needs to go.
Yep, it's a cover-up. Pam Bondi, Cash Patel, 2 rotten, spoiled, funky tomatoes. Whew, hold on. Just a moment, please. It's amazing how the Republicans, they're never gonna ever be ever have any dignity. They always running scams up to no good to protect pedos. That's what the MAGA Republican Party are doing, protecting pedos. I'm trying to see if I have anything else on the Epstein files. If not, we're going to move along to some other news and we're going to get off here. So Donna Janine Trump, the stunt queen, is at it again. Take a listen to a video that was leaked. I know I played it yesterday, but I want y'all to know exactly who this nincompoop, buffoon, orange face is. He's playing in our faces by only having some of the Epstein files released. So this would let you know from his past things that he has done that is criminal who Donald Trump is. Hold on.
You do it to uncover fraud. You could say for transparency and to uncover fraud, possible fraud. So who's going to stop you for that? You know, it's not a federal judge. Possibly. Yeah, you know, Mr. President. You do it to uncover fraud.
Donald Trump, in the 2020 election, he wanted some of his MAGA Republicans to break the law and say that he won the election when he didn't. He continued to lie that he was the true winner of the 2020 election. He is a fraud pig. Shut up, piggy. Donald Trump. Donna Janine Trump. Shut up, piggy. And his lies, I'm sick of it. So Wolf, Michael Wolf has something he wants to tell us because he is suing Melania Trump. And he continues with his thing. So he's going to give us some new information.
This is an update about my lawsuit against the First Lady of the United States. I think she's running from us. By suing her, we have the right to subpoena her and her husband and their friends and to ask all concerned about their relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. We have tried to serve her lawyer in Florida. He has absolutely refused to take service of our lawsuit. We've sent a process server to Trump Tower, where we understand she lives, not in the White House, but in Trump Tower. And that process server, who seemed perfectly familiar with serving people in Trump Tower, a lot of dubious people there. When the server found out that it was the First Lady, they panicked, they refused to do it. We got another server to go, and this was just yesterday. They arrived at Trump Tower. They were prevented from getting in by security. Security told them that they would take any papers and throw them in the garbage. But they did confirm that Melania Trump lives in Trump Tower. So this is a kind of historical point. The First Lady of the United States does not live in the White House. She lives in Trump Tower. We will now go into court as early as tomorrow, the day the Epstein files are to be released. And we will ask the court to deem her served. We have taken all reasonable measures to accomplish this. And now the court will say, yes, she is served, which means that we now begin to serve our subpoenas. For a more in-depth story of how to sue the First Lady, join me on Substack, Howell, Tales of Our Time.
Melania Trump, Whoop is not backing down. My phone going dead. Hold on, beautiful kings and queens. Whoop is like me. He ain't gonna bow down. No, he would not bow down. Hold on. Let me know if you can hear me. My battery's about to go dead. Let me know if you can hear me, please. King Allen, can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me, baby, because my phone was about to go dead. I had to put it on the charger. Okay, my love. Thank you. So that was Wolf. He has tried numerous times to serve Melania Trump because she threatened to sue him. And he told her, if you don't sue me by a certain time, I'm suing you. Because she said that he was lying about she was Epstein's girl first. Yeah. Melania Trump has been said to be Epstein's girl first. And it has been said that she had her first lay in the Lolita's jet that's owned by Jeffrey Epstein is where her and Donald Trump did the nasty, because he's a nasty man. Hold on, everybody. So, we're just going to get to some regular news because I don't think I have any more Epstein stuff, but if I do, we will go over it. So, in my opinion, of what Donald Trump has done to the White House, it is a ghetto fabulous mess. What the hell is what I said? So this comes from Keith Edwards. He did a collage, and he said, we're going to have so much fun tearing down all this shit. Look at what it is. Look at what Donald Trump did to the White House. Look at all that BS ghetto trailer park trash he has done to the White House. And then he put his name on the United States Institute of Peace. We're tired of Donald Trump. And y'all said these people supposed to be people of class. They could never be classy like President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, while Donald Trump's wife did nude modeling. Michelle Obama, Harvard graduate. I can't remember the other school, but anyway, top of her class, graduate. While Melania Trump had nudes, she was doing nude modeling. Might as well said porn. Are y'all kidding me? And you think Donald Trump is a man of dignity? Look what he married. He had Marla, an actress, someone that is of dignity. And he left. Donald Trump left Maura Maples to go to Melania Trump. That's digging in the trash can, Donnie. Because you're mad that Wolf is saying that Epstein had Melania first. He has proof of it, apparently, because he ain't backing down. He's suing Melania Trump now. Bad news for Donnie. A ho, 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 and a Merry Christmas is what he married. One moment, please. Donald Trump has dementia. It's being said by someone that works in the medical field. Hold on.
Donald Trump has dementia. That is my professional opinion, and let's talk about why. So first of all, professionally, I am a licensed and certified speech language pathologist who specializes in concussion and cognitive rehabilitation. I have been focused my entire career for the last decade plus on neurological disorders and diseases, and I have even been said that I am an expert in my field by 2 different judges during trials in which I testified. So I do know what I'm talking about. I'm also taking out any political biases I could possibly have. So why? First of all, imaging, MRI. The news just came out about what his imaging so-called said. And first of all, they didn't say his MRI said this. They said imaging said this. And they were talking about cardio and abdominal health. Now, MRIs are not typically done to support abdominal and cardiac things. You might have an echo, you might have a CTA, but you're not going to have an MRI. And they've come out and said that everything was perfect, and they were just doing this because of concern for his age, and everything looked great. These are not regular tests that are done on any octogenarian out there. There typically has to be something wrong. And again, no mention of the brain whatsoever. Donald Trump himself did not even know what part of the body he had MRI'd. When asked, he said, I don't know. Then he stated, but it was perfect. So here's the thing. Even if he's talking about a brain MRI looking good for his age, it is by far, 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 far from perfect. There is typical signs of aging. There's atrophy. There's all kinds of things that are going on where his MRI would not be perfect. The next thing is this cognitive test that he keeps talking about. He keeps saying, I aced it, I aced it, I aced it. The cognitive test that he's talking about is called the MOCA, the Montreal Cognitive Assessment. It is an assessment that I give. I'm very familiar with it. It is an assessment to screen for dementia. It is not an IQ test. It is not something that people who don't have dementia should have issues with or even be given. So if I have no concern that a patient has dementia, if I think they're cognitively performing great, I am absolutely not reaching for the MOCA. I'm going to give them something else that is going to actually assess their cognitive abilities versus screen them for dementia. So even if he had gotten a 30 out of 30, whoop-de-doo. It does not mean anything to me if our president can get a 30 out of 30 on the MOCA. He should be given much higher level cognitive tests. And the fact that he was given the MOCA is very concerning. Donald Trump has dementia. That is my professional opinion. And let's talk about why. So first of all,
I believe he has dementia. Yeah, because both his parents had it. More than likely, it would be hereditary and passed down to him. And also Don Jr. and the rest of his children, etc. Just a moment, beautiful kings and queens. So we're going to delve into a little bit of, while Donald Trump spews hate about Rob Rauner, President Joe Biden just perfectly explained why the U.S. must be the leader of the free world. It's clear that President Biden's far more capable of leading than Trump has ever been.
Not because we're special. Who does? If we don't lead, who leads in the world? Russia? China? Who leads? So if we have to, we owe it to our own families and to America. We owe it to the world. We can get it done. So, and I'm announcing that I'm not running for any area. Thank you all very much.
Well, Donald Trump is not a great leader. He don't speak that kind of words into the American people's souls. He speak hate, division, hate for brown people, hate for black people, hate for Haitians, hate for people from Somali. Donald Trump speaks nothing but hate and about helping the billionaires. And the American people are lied to daily saying that what we're going through as Americans is a hoax. Our struggles is a hoax. That's what Donald Trump is saying to our faces. Just a moment, please.
On this vote, the yeas are 427, the nays are
Thank
1.
you.
2/3 being in the affirmative, the rules are suspended, the bill is passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
That was a vote. That's a vote to pass. The House passes bill to release the Epstein files. That's what that was about. Hold on. We're going to take a listen to this just a moment. Uh-oh. Sorry, y'all. I apologize.
What's going on with the Epstein files?
So I think they're going to be released, but I think they're going to be heavily redacted. So we're going to have to keep fighting to get those back. The thing that they don't understand is that they've bungled and mismanaged this so badly that people are not going to accept what is coming down. They're going to be pissed off at their redaction. Again, talking to my Republican friends, they see what it is, right? This is elite people taking care of elite people. This is a bunch of elite male pedophiles, largely in New York, West Palm Beach, by the way, that are still alive. They're probably still, unfortunately, engaging in this type of rape and exploitation of women, and the women are still alive that were raped and exploited. And so the idea that this administration is actively going to go and cover for all these pedophiles that are still out there, they're still in powerful positions, and they're re-victimizing these poor women, it's not going to sit well with the American public. And that's why I fear that this guy is going to throw us in a war to really cover up for what's happening with the Epstein files. And that everything I see right now, everything they're doing in the Caribbean is telling me that they're going to war.
No, it's not sitting well with the American people that the DOJ, Donald Trump, Cash Patel is playing in our face about these Epstein files, only releasing a small amount today. when the law stated specifically that they needed to release the full Epstein file non-redacted. But Pam Bondi and Donald Trump think they are above the law. Lying under oath is a federal crime. This is Kash Patel lying under oath.
Familiar with the Stu Peters? Does that name ring a bell?
I'm sorry, what is it?
Are you familiar with Mr. Stu Peters?
Not off the top of my head.
You made 8 separate appearances on his podcast.
Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Stu. Always love coming on your show.
Kash Patel, thank you so much for making the time to be here with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Stu. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Stu. Appreciate it. See you soon.
I gotta go, Kash. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thanks,
up against a hard break here. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it, Stu.
Kash Patel, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Stu.
There's no way around it. Kash Patel completely lied. He was on his show 8 times, on Stu Peters' show 8 times. And Kash Patel is one of the people that used to always talk about on different podcaster shows that the Epstein files, the full Epstein files should be released. Now he's the FBI lead, and now they're playing in our face and will not release the full non-redacted Epstein files. And that is what we're dealing with, America. Just a moment. Just a moment. How y'all doing today? Hold on. We're going to listen to something from Jasmine Crockett. I'm going to read it to you. Just a moment, please. And this is what Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett has to say. She said, today is the deadline to release the Epstein files. The DOJ is refusing to comply. This is about justice for survivors and holding participants and co-conspirators accountable. The Epstein File Act is the law, not a suggestion, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and Donald Trump. Release the Epstein files immediately. That's what she says. Release the Epstein files immediately. We want the full non-redacted Epstein files. Pam Bondi, Donald Trump, Donald J. Trump, Donald Trump, the one that wants the ballroom built, that girl. We want the full Epstein files non-redacted, girl. Hold on.
Republican President George Bush gets elected and gets handed an economy from Bill Clinton that's booming. The GDP's at 4%, just created 22 million jobs. The unemployment rate is at a 33-year low. America says, yeah, thanks, Democrats, we got it from here. Hands it to George Bush. He leaves it in a recession. Obama gets handed an economy that's losing 700,000 jobs a month. Fixes it up, makes 16 million jobs, cuts the unemployment rate from 8% to 4.8%. America says, yeah, thanks for pulling us out of recession, Obama. Thanks for pulling out of recession, Democrats. We've got it from here. Hands it back to the Republicans. Hands Donald Trump an economy that is on the largest economic expansion in the history of America, 128 consecutive months. Trump leaves it in a recession again. Actually, 10 of the last 11 recessions have all been under Republican presidents. How long do we expect Democratic politics to clean up your mess? Democratic politics killed cigarette.
While Donald Trump puts on that plaque a lie about President Obama, President Obama pulled us out of recession, and Donald Trump put us back in a recession when he won his first term, which I still do not honestly believe he won that. I think that somebody rigged that one too. In my opinion, I have a right to my opinion. I honestly believe that Hillary Clinton won. I honestly believe that VP Kamala Harris won. Because he said, this win, he said, I want to thank Elon Musk. He knows those voter machines very well. And he has said during an interview that if it wasn't for the election being rigged in his favor, he would not have won. That's what Donald Trump said. The girl that wants the ballroom, wants to dance like he's jacking off his brothers and sisters in the MAGA Republican Party that like to get on the Grindr app. Yeah. One moment, please. We're going to listen to this leaked audio again because I need you to know exactly who your savior is, MAGA.
You do it to uncover fraud. You could say for transparency and to uncover fraud, possible fraud. So who's going to stop you for that? You know, it's like
a federal judge.
possibly think. Yeah,
Donald Trump was trying to convince a MAGA Republican to break the law and say he won the election in 2020. Because you keep running them D-suckers saying you won the election in 2020 when the American people know you're lying, Donald Janine Trump, the one that wants to ballroom so he can put on his tutu and dance all over the place and throw fairy dust. And when he went after Letitia James, he was the one that actually committed mortgage fraud. But he hates black people and he hates black women the most. Take a listen.
Keeps accusing his enemies of mortgage fraud, but new records show that's exactly what he's guilty of. So Trump said that New York Attorney General Letitia James and Fed Chair Lisa Cook committed mortgage fraud by claiming more than one primary residence. He called them crooked, deceitful, and potentially criminal. Well, according to newly released records, Trump got a mortgage for this home in Palm Beach in 1993 and said it would be his primary residence. Just 7 weeks later, he took out a mortgage on this nearby property and said it would be his primary residence. But in reality, Trump lived in New York at this time, so he never lived in either of those houses, let alone them being his primary residence. Instead, they were used as investment properties and rented out. These are the actual newspaper advertisements from that time. But claiming primary residence on your mortgage gives you a lot of benefits like smaller down payment and lower interest rates. And doing that on 2 different properties is exactly the scenario that Trump has called mortgage fraud. What's that saying? That if you want to know what Trump's up to, look at what he accuses others of doing? We can thank ProPublica for digging up these new mortgage records. And if you like investigations into Trump's business corruption, then you cannot miss this week's episode of News Girls, because we look into 4 different properties that Trump has owned in New York and tell you all of the shady criminal tricks he pulled to try to hold on to power or to try to get the building. Here we are at the Plaza. Here we are at Trump Tower. We go through the history of a bunch of properties, so you do not want to miss it. It comes out tomorrow.
Please subscribe to News Girls. Subscribe to News Girls on YouTube and on Instagram and give her a follow, please. She is beautiful, isn't she? That was a beautiful queen. One moment, please. Trump claims White House doctors said he was... This is hilarious what Donald Trump really believes he looks like and that he's in better health than President Barack Obama. Trump claims White House doctors said he was by far healthier than President Barack Obama. Donald Trump looked like death. Okay. So this is the article from Black Information Network. Donald Trump claims a White House doctor told him he was by far healthier than President Barack Obama. Trump made the comment during a Hanukkah reception at the White House. During the reception, Trump recalled asking former White House physician Ronnie Jackson who was the healthiest between him and President Barack Obama. And former President Joe Biden, this is hilarious, y'all. Who's the healthiest of all? Donald Trump once questioned Jackson, to whom he alleged responded Trump was by far the healthiest. Donald Trump, you look like death. You look like you ain't bathed in weeks, months. And I can imagine what you smell like. The 79-year-old president added, if he didn't say that, I would never have talked to him again. Of course not, you buffoon. The clown of America. Oh, disgusting. Barack Obama. Look at him. Donald Trump's stomach is fat. He wears that long red tie to hide it. He wears that big suit jacket to hide his booty do and his love handles. You're overweight, Donnie. Jealousy. He's so jealous of President Barack Obama. It's disgusting.
Ronnie Jackson, he was my White House doctor. Ronnie was asked, who's the healthiest of all? Was it Barack Hussein Obama? Was it Sleepy Joe Biden? Or was it Donald Trump? And he said Trump was by far the healthiest. He was the doctor for all 3 of us, and he said Trump was by far the healthiest. I love him.
Trump, you walking around with patches on your hand because they stick in your hand daily. Pumping you with something to keep your whack, fat, sloppy, stinking self alive. Please. And what does President Barack Obama does? Laugh. You can't help but to laugh at Donnie. Donald Trump is a joke, a fat slob of a joke. One moment, please. How y'all doing? So we're going to listen to Melania Trump tell how she really feels for Christmas for the children, because she fakes the phone. You can tell when she was reading to the children, not speaking great English, broken English, she didn't care about those children. The children wasn't even interested in her reading to them. Melania Trump don't love the kids. That's in my opinion, all right?
Stuff that, who gives a about Christmas stuff and decoration, but I need to do it, right? Yeah, but correct? 100%. You have no choice. And then I do it, and I said that I'm working on Christmas, planning for the Christmas, and they said, oh, what about the children that they were separated? Give me a break.
She said, give me a fucking break. They asked her, what about the children? And she said, give to me, not give me a fucking break. Deport her. She cannot speak English. Isn't that what you say about the Hispanic people? The brown people? Melania Trump is not from this country. She received the Einstein visa, but nothing about her has the qualifications to have the Einstein visa. Giving head to a fat pig does not give you the qualifications to have the Einstein visa. Bitch, please. So Trump them stole the Kennedy Center pretty much. When this other lady that's a representative was trying to speak up, they muted her to steal the vote, to have his name put on the Kennedy Center. Donald Trump loves to steal things that does not belong to him. He loves to touch and take things that does not belong to him. He's a grifter, a conman.
End of the meeting, there was the announcement that there was going to be the renaming of the Kennedy Center to the Trump Center. At that point, I said I have something to say, and I was muted. And as I continued to try to unmute to ask questions and voice my opposition to this, I received a note saying that I would not be unmuted.
So to be clear, you were cut off.
I was cut off, and then it was said that now the vote is unanimous. As an ex officio member, we do have a vote. I was not allowed to vote because I was muted. I would not have supported this. I would have asked several questions about this. And in traditional fashion, we would have had someone talk about why they were doing this, that they had researched this. In my opinion, it is not legal for them to do this.
So we oversee their finances, and we believe this is we also believe this is illegal. This is our living monument to JFK. We didn't build him another statue on the mall. This is something that was built for him because of his dedication to the arts and creativity and free speech. So we are currently looking for any way we can push back as members of Congress, as a subcommittee that controls their finances. But we have found them very non-transparent in terms of explaining exactly how they're spending the money they got in the big ugly bill, or what ticket sales are, or anything else going on there right now. As we know, they fired the entire board except the ex officio members, which they couldn't, replace them with people who just went along with the president. But I think members of Congress are going to be outraged. I know we are. Exactly. We're doing a sign-on letter to ask our colleagues to say, this is not legal, you can't do this, and it's a real insult to the Kennedy family and to JFK.
Of course, they're not letting you know the ticket sales. They're stealing from the American people. As long as Donald Trump is in that office, he's going to grift. He always sending out emails grifting his platform. And MAGA so dumb, they are sending their money to the orange buffoon. So, Ilhan Omar has been an American longer than Melania has. If Trump wants to talk about immigration timelines, he might want to start at home, because Melania Trump has not been in this country as long as Representative Omar. That's what I'm talking about. Omar has been in this country as a U.S. citizen longer than Melania Trump. Melania Trump cannot speak English. MAGA Republicans are always hollering to deport Hispanics, brown people, Mexicans, because they don't speak English, and they don't want them speaking Spanish in their country. In this country, it's still their country as well. This country doesn't belong to white people. You were not the first people here. Black and brown people were the first people here. Yes, black people is the first people on earth because Africans was here before anybody. And white people, I hate to inform you and don't get offended, but it's the truth. Truly read your Bible and understand it. You were not in the Bible, baby. Thank you for the gifts that you all have been sending me. I love each and every last one of y'all. And this live is it's not about race. It's about facts. Don't cry. Dry your eyes. Be honest with yourself. You don't have my type of hair. You don't have brown skin. That's who were in the Bible first. Accept it. You are a mutation of black people, and we love you anyway. God bless. The further we went from the equator, you became white people. Y'all are only 6,000 years old. Don't get offended. Do your research. MAGA is not going to read anything, but I encourage you to do your research, okay? And maybe you could love everybody, not just white people. God wants us to love everybody, okay?
New photos of Epstein has been released by the House Oversight, and it's about to get real weird. Bill Gates, Epstein, and plenty of others on the Lolita Express with young girls. Text messages saying how much the girls are, the age, weird writing on them, and this one really creeps me out. The foot, and the foot says it's missing one sock. Reminds me of Dan Schneider's weird foot obsession that he would make different people on Nickelodeon, even the sign, all about feet, creepy stuff. But let's not forget the infamous picture of Quentin Tarantino sucking a foot on the Lolita Express, or Tom Hanks' weird sock picture.
So I guess the Epstein crew, the pedos got a thing for feet. And men pay a lot for some photos of somebody's feet. I find it rather disgusting because nothing fascinating about anybody's feet. Some women have pretty feet. Some men have nice feet. I've seen men feet that look better than women feet. But I don't know what the obsession is. The obsession is with the Epstein crew, Donny Boy crew. Now this really touched my heart because this school teacher excuse me, y'all. For some reason, what's happening? MAGA is reporting to my channel. It happens daily. This school teacher let ICE know you are not going to bother my children. Take a listen.
No, you are not coming in here.
Ma'am, we just need
I said no. No, this is a school. You're not about to harass my students. Get the fuck out of here before I stick my foot in your ass. I'm not playing with you.
We're going to watch that again because she is the same person I am. No, you're not bothering my school children. Pulling them out of school. Why? Because the white man don't think that brown people belong? This school teacher did what is right.
No, you are not coming in here.
Ma'am, we just need
I said no. This is a school. You're not about to harass my students. Get the fuck out of here before I stick my foot in your ass. I'm not playing with you.
I love that woman. Yeah, protect the children. The children are more important than any of these ICE people. The children are more important than Donald J. Trump, Donald Janine Trump. The children are more important than Melania Trump. The children are more important than Barron Trump. The children are more important than Don Jr. The children are more important than Ivanka and the other boy, Eric Trump. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. But Donald Trump does not believe that. He believes in separating innocent children from their mothers and fathers around Christmas time. You are the worst of the worst, Donald Trump. You should be thrown under the prison. More on ICE, and the police chief is going to sound alarm on the ICE raids.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Brian O'Hara, and I am the Minneapolis Police Chief. First off, thank you, Pastor Sergio, for inviting us back into this sacred space here. We know this has been a very, very difficult time for our communities here in the city. The fear that people are experiencing is real. As our mayor has said, it's been sad to drive down Lake Street and to see so many of our businesses either closed or empty. It's hard to see the impact that this is having on everyone in our community. It's especially personal to me having been raised a Catholic, to be in a Christian church this morning as we are approaching Christmas. And I cannot help but think of what is happening in our city today and how that echoes with how outsiders have been treated for thousands of years. How Mary and Joseph themselves were considered outsiders and forced to stay in a barn. That's what we're getting ready to commemorate as Christians around the world, while all of this fear is happening right here in our town. So my goal, and our goal as the Minneapolis police, is to try and do what we can to reduce fear, to reduce anxiety, and to try and help provide for public safety and uphold human dignity.
Uphold human dignity. ICE doesn't have any dignity. Donald J. Trump don't have any dignity. Donald Janine Trump doesn't have any dignity. Melania Trump doesn't have any dignity. None of the Trump family has any dignity. The MAGA Republican Party does not have any dignity. Just a moment, please. I'm trying to see if there's anything I haven't showed y'all, but I'm doing this on purpose, showing this again, because this is pertaining to the Epstein files, and what the DOJ think they're going to do to American people is only shows the Dems in the Epstein files. We will not be fooled.
Those files do exist.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of pages of files. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files, leave all the liberal, Democratic people in those files.
And they visited that Maxwell person.
Yeah.
And also involved.
She got transferred to a minimum security prison too recently, which is against BOP policy because she's a convicted sex offender. They're offering her something to keep her out.
They offer Ghislaine Maxwell something to keep her mouth closed. That's what someone that works for the MAGA Republican DOJ just said. Thank you for becoming a member, Paul. Thank you. I love you. Thank you so much for becoming a member. You are a Ruby's member. You can look at the case number of Katie Johnson versus Donald J. Trump in the Epstein file, in the Epstein. Jeffrey E. Epstein. Katie Johnson versus Jeffrey E. Epstein and Donald J. Trump. She's a 13-year-old girl that they RAPED'd. She alleged that in her court case. So it's good you became a member. Thank you for joining my membership, baby. I love you. Thank you, King. I'm going to read some of y'all comments, and we're going to get out of here because I have a lot of cooking to do for the charity event tomorrow. One moment. Okay, Peggy says, that right, wait a minute, hold on, it's moving too fast. That right keep paying her for all the hate she spreads. Honey, tell the truth on Donald Trump is not hate, honey. You just dropped your crown, Queen. Pick it back up and join the Democrats. Fred Wright says Trump loves you. Trump don't love me, honey. I'm black, and I'm proud to be black. I'm 52, never had Botox or fillers, and I look good. Never, ever. And Trump doesn't love me. He hate my people. He wish he was President Barack Obama, but he would never be great. Okay, B Love says the people want to flip the script and change the narrative. The MAGA Republicans want to flip the script and change the narrative. Okay, Michael 2883 says, why don't focus on spending our money on making bridges safer? They must do that, but that's not what Donald Trump has his MAGA Republican government doing. That's not happening on Donald Trump's watch. They taking our money and making sure the billionaires get richer. Democrats have never been so cruel to any Republican. They haven't been cruel to any Republican. No, the Republicans are demons. Obama never, boy, get out of here with that roadside camper. Go roadside camp and hump a horse because you know that's in your bloodstream, nasty self. You definitely a MAGA Republican. Okay. Yes, Trump is a grifter. Blanche Robinson, he is a grifter. Definitely. King Allen says at Peggy, You hold her to higher standard than the president. Okay. Just a moment. And in Dr. 226 says, be informed, not influenced. I can be informed and influenced at the same time because I'm influencing you, hopefully for the good. God be with you. I'm going to say something to roadside camper. Rules of law. U.S. deserves a border. Why? Brown people was here before you got here. You need to do your homework. They was here before you got here. So they should have put a border up to keep out the Europeans, and then your people could never have come here. Some of my people were already here. Mike 68 said, losers, he's about to lose everything. Yep, Trump will lose everything, and I'm excited about it. I'm going to celebrate. If he was to die, I will celebrate. Yes, I will. I'm going to celebrate his regime fall. Yes. And Beloved said, why support the devil? Yeah, Donald Trump does need to go. He's hurting the American people, and MAGA can't see it because they're so deep down in his pissy pens getting high, they will never rise up to be free. Anna Williams says, nothing but God bless you. You ain't even a queen. Your crown been dropped and fell in the toilet. Okay, Fred Rice said, congrats, you played yourself. You played your mama and your daddy. That's who you played. Run and tell that. Yes, Newsom. I love Newsom Blanche. Beloved, yes, no to Trump. John Tyrell 895 says, excuse me, good madam, may I inquire as the current whereabouts of your Christmas spirit? My Christmas spirit is into making sure children have a great Christmas. That's why I came live early so I can get off here and go cook so we can have plenty of food for the children that are not normally granted a great Christmas. And we're doing a toy drive for the children. So what are you doing to help children? What are you doing to help the homeless? Worried about me, worry about yourself. King Allen, my moderator, says, yes, arrest Trump. He must be arrested. He must be impeached. This thing is moving fast. I'm trying to stop it. King William says, love everyone, seek justice, leave room for God's wrath. And his wrath gonna tear Donnie Bar up. He already experiencing it. This thing's happening to him. Some things we just don't know about, but trust me, in the spirit, I know about it. He's getting tore up. He's getting tore up by black ancestors in his sleep. They beating his ass. That's why he's swollen every day. Oh, these MAGA Republicans are highly upset in my chat. I'm not even going to bother reading some of your comments. You send some money, send me a super chat, super stick. I'm going to read your ugly comments. Otherwise, I would not read that stuff. You can sit over and hate on my beauty all you want to. At least I ain't getting Botox up and fillers. You be 25 years old getting Botox and fillers. King South 900, baby, your people always made it about race. So when black people say something about what you do to black people, don't get offended, get educated. Because you come from us. Haha, but you hate us. Thank you, Campaign Soho. Thank you for sending me gifts. I love you. Well, we're going to be getting out of here because I got cooking to do. Because I want to see nothing but smiles on the children's faces. I had already sent over gifts a couple months ago so we could start our toy drive. But I have even more gifts that I'm taking tomorrow. And I'm taking lots of food. Thank you. Thank you so much. Uh-oh, where did it go? Hold on, I'm trying to catch it. Roderick Graves, 8891. Thank you for sending me flowers. I love each and every last one of you all. You still have time. If you want to send me a super chat, super sticker, or gifts, you still have time. And those of you who are watching on replay, you can send me thank you as well. And you can send, I think you can send gifts. If not, please hype up my video. You can hype my video up. That means a lot to me. Hype up my video. I love you guys. May God continue to enrich your families. Try to do something to help our nation. Be someone that does something in your community that is positive and is not about race. Because tomorrow, our toy drive is not about any race. It's about any child that needs a Christmas, a beautiful Christmas. So do something in your community to put a smile on somebody's child's face. And don't be picky about what race they are. It doesn't matter about what race they are. Okay? I love you guys. May God continue to enrich your loved ones. Good night. Bye. If anything else pop off, now I may go live later on this evening once I've got my cooking started up. So Alan, I may go live a little later if something pop off about these Epstein files, okay? But I have so much cooking to do, I may not be able to. I love you guys. God loves you. Keep up the good work in your community. May God continue to enrich you and your family, okay? Prosperity is what we want. Goodbye.